Welcome back. This is part 2 of the importance of BIA testing and sarcopenia. What is a skinny fat person? It's a good question. As we age, we tend to lose muscle. This is called sarcopenia. And thus, we lose our ability to burn fat and our metabolic rate slows down. Many replace this lost muscle with fat, and this is called sarcopenic obesity, or the skinny fat person. The researchers also call it the skinny frail. And what kind of image does that generate in your mind when you hear skinny frail? So obviously, losing muscle is not a healthy thing to do. When you lose muscle, this accelerates you towards type 2 diabetes. So now, are you starting to understand and see why knowing what tissues shift during a body composition program and why screening for sarcopenia is so important, and why you need to measure using a BIA test to confirm what tissue clients are losing or gaining? In this picture, a woman has accrued too much body fat and she decides to lose it in either a healthy or an unhealthy way. Both times the scale says she lost weight. However, under deeper examination with a BIA test, you can see that she has lost the yellow tissue, which is fat, and preserved her muscle. Over here, in an unhealthy manner, she has actually lost her muscle and gained fat. This is a great example of sarcopenic obesity. This type of body shape is associated with better health, reduced risk to chronic illness, and proper functioning, more energy, and so on. This type of body composition, where you gain fat and lose muscle, is associated with elevated blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, hormonal dysfunction, cancers, and so on. So, weight loss questions you might want to ask. Did you lose fat, muscle, or fluids? How do you know? You need to know if your program is working and what tissues shifted, if any. Should we guess or should we measure to find out? How many calories do you need? What are your protein requirements? And what did you lose again? Did you lose fat, muscle, and fluids? And if you lost fluids, or if they shifted, did they move inside or outside the cell? This paper, entitled Clinical Detection of Sarcopenic Obesity by Bioelectrical Impedance Analysis, stated that the BIA may be clinically useful for demonstrating sarcopenic obesity in women at normal body mass indices. What this paper was really saying was, using the body mass index scale, these women appeared normal. However, on deeper examination using a BIA, it was found they had lost muscle and gained fat. They were sarcopenic and obese. Let's take this one step farther and look at a human clinical trial published in the Journal of Nutritional Medicine way back in 1992. It's an older trial, but it clearly shows what happens in such situations. Remember, many weight loss programs cause the loss of muscle. In this 10-week study, patients were put on either a meal replacement, an OTC meal replacement, or a medical food protein shake. And what happened? Well, over the 10 weeks, you can see both groups lost weight. However, if we just looked at weight loss, the OTC group did better. They lost 2 pounds more. They lost 13 pounds. However, on deeper examination, it was found that they lost only 2 pounds of fat. Now that's interesting, because the group getting the protein shake, they lost 15 pounds of fat, yet they had 11 pounds of net weight loss. How could that be? Again, the OTC group lost lean body mass and their active tissue, their muscle, 11 pounds, whereas the medical food group getting the protein shake, they actually accrued muscle and gained 4 pounds. Interesting, this was about the first time in the published literature where it had been shown where people could actually gain lean tissue, gain muscle, when they're doing a weight loss program. And interesting as well, when these people lost this much muscle tissue, their metabolic rate dropped like a rock, and their body compensated by jumping up TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, to increase their metabolic rate. An elevated TSH is not a good thing. So a question that must be asked is, what group would have felt better? What group had more energy? What group had better body shape? And also, what group would you want to be in, or your family, or your clients? Other examples we can look at. In this example, Group A tended to accrue and gain lean tissue, and they lost 4 pounds of fat, yet the scale said 0. Oh my gosh. How would your clients respond if after a month on a program the scale said they had not lost any weight? Group B lost muscle, lost fat for a net of 8 pounds change. How do you think those clients would respond when they saw those numbers? How could you justify, because you and I now know this is a much healthier group of people compared to this group. However, these people may think they're happier because they lost more weight. In this second example, you can see again, this group accrued lean tissue, muscle tissue, didn't lose any fat, but the scale said their weight increased. And the second group, they lost muscle, did not lose any fat, and the scale said -4 pounds. What group would you want to be in? What group do you think your clients would want to be in? Again, you and I know this is a healthier group. However, clients may be interested in this because of what the scale says. And finally, our third group, again, this group has accrued muscle tissue, lost fat, and this time, because they were doing a liver support program and a hypoallergenic diet, reducing allergic potential, they lost 4 pounds of fluid. The net change was -4 on the scale. This group lost 4 pounds of muscle, 4 pounds of fat, and 4 pounds of fluids using laxatives and diuretics for a net change of 12 pounds. A very important question again is, what group would have felt better? However, what would the clients be looking at? They would be looking at this number. How would you feel if the scale said 0 versus -8 pounds in the first example? Or if you said you gained weight? Can you see why it's so important to actually be measured so you know what you lost and to confirm your program's working? If it's not, that's fine. Make the adjustments necessary and catch the client before their tangent gets off to too great an extreme. In this review paper by Dr. Sherry Kohlberg, PhD, she stated one main problem with large amounts of weight loss after you reach middle age or older is that these losses consist of about 75% fat and 25% muscle for typical dieters. However, when you gain weight back, which most people do, a large percentage of the weight that you gain back is body fat. She states up to 85%. Now it's interesting, she says that about 75% of the weight lost is fat and 25% is lean tissue, is your muscle. However, from the Biomarkers 2000 Clinical Desk reference, they state that exercise is important because weight loss from dieting alone comprises 45% muscle and 55% fat. That's quite a difference. So if you're just dieting, you will lose almost 50-50 muscle and fat. However, they do go on to say, and these numbers will correspond with Sherry Kohlberg's, that exercise can alter this ratio up to 25% muscle and 75% mass, fat mass. Also to note, with weight loss, it is essential that you regularly exercise to maintain your muscle mass. In fact, physical activity is likely more important than how many calories you eat, when it comes to maintaining a good body weight and your health. Dieters who fail to exercise will lose more muscle mass, but exercising during periods of restricted caloric intake, that's dieting, stimulates the retention of your muscle, which also keeps your metabolism operating at a higher level. That's great news. But the important takeaway point is, if you're trying to lose weight, you really must exercise, and that will probably include resistance training to preserve your muscle and lose just fat. She also stated that another consideration is that when losing excessive fat, you are also releasing whatever has been stored in your fat tissue along with it, including a lifetime of accumulated toxins like PCBs and so on from insecticides. This rapid increase in the level of circulating toxins can actually lead to nerve damage. In nature, when bald eagles rapidly die when they lose weight due to the toxins in their brains that get released. This poisonous infusion may be the major reason why weight loss at an older age is bad for you. You've had a longer time for toxins to accumulate in your fat tissue. As an example, if you developed a chronic disease or an illness or maybe in an accident, some sort of trauma, and you're in the hospital, and if you weren't eating properly, you would start mobilizing fat and muscle tissue. And with the mobilization of fat, you would mobilize all these extra toxins. Think about that for a moment, because along the same lines, many medications are also stored in fat tissue, and weight loss releases more of them into your bloodstream. And most physicians fail to reduce the dosage of fat-soluble drugs during periods of weight loss, likely making the doses excessively high. In this paper entitled, "What is Sarcopenia?" by William Evans, he stated, in addition to its role in energy metabolism, skeletal muscle and its age-related decline may contribute to age-associated changes as reduction in bone density, insulin sensitivity, and loss of aerobic capacity. So what contributes to sarcopenia? Poor blood sugar management and insulin resistance, chronic stress, poor sleep, nutrient insufficiencies, inflammation, toxicity, cancer, and some illnesses. Are you starting to understand why sarcopenia is so important? And it's vital for you to understand that most weight loss programs contribute to muscle loss. They strip you of your health and your vitality. Muscle is your number one healthy biomarker. And please read that last line again. Most weight loss programs contribute to the loss of muscle. So it's vital you test clients. If you lose muscle, you'll lose your tone and shape. You'll lose strength, and this ultimately can lead to increased falls. It reduces your basal metabolic rate and the amount of calories you need throughout the day. This contributes to a feeling of fatigue, weakness, and you feel tired. And muscle is often replaced with fat. And you have less health resource or savings in a health crisis. Loss of muscle will reduce your ability to balance blood sugar with lower energy and fatigue. Your blood fats will increase, such as cholesterol, LDL, and triglycerides. Your blood pressure will increase. You'll lose your aerobic capacity, and this may contribute to the loss of bone density. With the loss of muscle, you can also tend to fall more, and this increases the risk for falls. Hormone imbalances will develop, and muscle loss is related to accelerated aging. Your energy drops, it makes you feel tired, weak, and run down. In this paper from January 2010 entitled Persistent Low-Grade Inflammation and Regular Exercise, They stated that recent evidence suggests that the protective effect of exercise may to some extent be ascribed to its anti-inflammatory effect. That means when you exercise, your body releases compounds that reduce inflammation in the rest of the body. So, if you're interested in weight loss, can you understand why losing weight is the wrong goal? The true goal should be to lose fat, all the while maintain or even gain muscle, as well as strength and tone. Remember, muscle is your #1 healthy biomarker, and it's vital for optimal health and well-being. Muscle is the primary tissue that burns fat. If you lose it, you lose the ability to burn fat. So let's focus on maintaining our muscle, activating it, and using our muscles. Can we move more for fun, joy, purpose, and socialization? So how do you prevent sarcopenia? You focus on controlling blood sugar and insulin. You reduce your stress, and I understand this is easy to say and sometimes much harder to do. You can improve your sleep quality, and specifically sleep that's early in the night, the deep sleep. This is when growth hormone is released. We can exercise our muscles to make them more active and to grow and to increase our metabolic rate. All of these different components, stress reduction, balancing blood sugar and insulin, improving our sleep, and exercise, all work together to put your body into an anabolic, into a building process that will maintain and build your lean tissue, your muscle tissue. So, a summary on sarcopenia. Loss of muscle is related to almost all the chronic diseases. Muscle is your savings account when a health crisis hits. Muscle is where you burn fat and contributes to your basal metabolic rate. As we age, most people lose muscle and gain fat, and this is called sarcopenic obesity, and this is a very unhealthy state to be in. The scale does not address this vital component. Most weight loss programs contribute to sarcopenia and strip you of your health and vitality. Muscle gives our body tone and shape, and it's sexy. Next time, you will discover one of the most incredible features of BIA testing. You will explore fluid shifts in the human body and how they relate to optimizing health, toxicity, inflammation, blood pressure issues, and so on. I hope this video has served you well. And until next time, I wish you the very best of health and spirits.